Hi everyone, welcome back to Business Studies class. In last class we have seen about delegation. There we have learned elements of delegation, then importance of delegation, right? The next concept as in your chapter is decentralization. It sounds somewhat similar to your delegation initially. What is this delegation and decentralization? About that we are going to learn in this particular class. Let us start with the meaning of decentralization, knowing about the meaning of decentralization. So, decentralization is delegating authority to the employees at different levels in the organization in the context of duties assigned to them. See, delegation is giving the responsibility and then giving the authority to accomplish the work, isn't it? Then your decentralization is delegating the authorities to the different levels, that too particularly to the subordinates, in order or according to their duties and responsibilities. Simply we can understand that decision making authority, when you are given with, it means a decentralization policy or decentralization way of organization is followed in your business. When I say decentralization, before knowing decentralization, we can know about the centralization. Centralization in the sense where the decision making authority is centralized, is kept with only the top level management. You can see in some of the organization, for each and everything you have to contact the only one person who is entirely responsible. He feels that the topmost person feels that it's me who is responsible for entire thing, hence it's only me who should have entire authority. I don't want to give, that is, I don't want to delegate my authority to anyone, because he feels it is only me who is entirely responsible. Are you clear here? Centralization in the sense concentration of power in the hands of one or few. If you take it in an organization, if you take in the context of organization, when in an organization you have hierarchy, you have management hierarchy, but those managers does not have any authority. For everything the top management has to give any suggestion, they have to make a suggestion. It means it is centralized organization. It means the authority is not at all delegated. Is it clear? See, delegation in the sense you are giving the work and hence you are giving the authority, means something you are dividing and giving. So delegation part we see first responsibility will be given, that is work is given, hence the authority is given. But in centralization what happens, work you have to do but you don't have any authority to take any decisions. For each and everything the organization topmost people has to react. So that is the situation of your centralization and decentralization. Sometimes people will get confused between decentralization and delegation. No confusion required, because delegation we speak in case of responsibility. Alright? Hence the general word of delegation means giving something, dividing and giving something. Okay? But in the concept of management, when I say delegation, in the sense first you give them responsibility, and because to do that responsibility you give them some authority. Okay? That is the concept of term used in our management. But what is this decentralization? Decentralization in the sense the power is given to the different levels. Delegating the authority, that is dividing and giving the authority to the different levels. Example I'll tell you. I am in the topmost position, okay, under me I have subordinates, okay. So middle level and bottom level I have. So what I say is, if it is a matter of 50 lakhs and above, you get me. If it is a matter of below 50,000 and above 25 lakhs, you, the middle manager has to look out. If it is below 25 only, the bottom level people can handle it. In that way I am dividing the authority. Is it clear? Only if it is above 50, above 25 and below, above 25 or above 50, I will be handling. Only those cases I will be solving with. Only those issues I will be dealing with. Other issues my subordinate will be doing. So he will be doing only if it is above 25 and below 50. And if it is below 25, the bottom level people will be looking after all those things. So all the issues are not taken to the top management. Hence what happens, top management will be relieved from the unnecessary things, because he knows that I am giving them authority and I give them responsibility also. Is that clear? So the decentralization is dividing, giving decision making power to the different levels of management is called decentralization. That is, power, that is decision making power is distributed in the organization. Within that limits they can make decision. If it is above their limit, then it will be forwarded to your higher levels. The second point says that decentralization is dispersal of centers of decision making throughout the organization. Is it clear? So it is dispersal of decision making authority throughout the organization. Throughout the organization, in the sense we have 3 levels. Okay, employees are not concerned with that, only the management members. So in management, top level, who are there? Your top level people are your managing directors, CEOs and board of directors. In middle level, you will be having managers. Okay, sometimes even general managers will be added. It depends upon the organization structure. Somewhere general managers will be in the top level, it is somewhat like, but managers will be in the middle level. And in the bottom level, supervisors, inspectors will be there. Okay, foremans. Okay, so every level, so all the levels will be having their own authority. That is what called your decentralization. Dispersal, that is dividing and giving the authority to the different levels. Joseph Messi gives a definition for this. You have to remember, because it can be asked for 2 marks. Okay, this is simple definition, so I have added this. Decentralization is an organizational concept which takes decision making to the lower levels of management. Okay, it is a concept whether to hold entire with me or to disperse something. Is it clear? It is a concept which takes decision making to the lower levels of management. If you are centralized organization, lower level and middle level are only with the responsibility, they are not given with any decision making authority. Is that clear? Decision making authority is not given. Whenever, yes, whether I have to do or not, if you are in such a position, everything should be contacted with whom? The top level, if it is a centralized organization. Okay, hence Joseph Messi says that decentralization is an organizational concept which takes decision making to the even lower levels, that is middle level and bottom level. Now everything is not holded in the top level, it is distributed. Example, best example I will tell you. See, if you see any institution, any college, for example, if you take our college, some power will be given to the class teachers, some power will be given to the subject teachers, and then to the HOD, then to the ultimate principals. Okay, in that way, the decision making will be divided. For each and everything, no need to contact the top people. We can deal with the immediate superiors. If the issue is not solved there, if the issue is out of their authority level, then it passes to the higher level. If the issue can be solved within their authority limits, it will be solved so easily. So that is what distributing the authority to the different levels is called decentralization. Now we'll go with 2 more definitions. That is, decentralization refers to systematic effort to delegate to the lower levels all authority except that which can be exercised at central point. So some types of decision making should be made only by the top level. Example I will tell you. Whether I want to expand my business or not. This is the major decision. This decision has to be made by the top level itself. It cannot be distributed to the middle and lower level management. Clear? So keeping only such authority with them, and all other authority you are giving to middle level and bottom level, that is what your decentralization says, Louis Allen, which is very crucial, that has to be with the top level, and which are okay, that can be given to your, in that part your authority and responsibilities has to be distributed to your bottom and lower levels. That is what your decentralization according to Louis Allen. Henry Fayol says that everything which goes to increase the importance of subordinates' role is decentralization. Everything that goes to reduce it is centralization. It's something what easy to understand, to be frank. Just you concentrate on this. Decentralization in the sense you are giving importance to your subordinates because you are giving them authority. You are making them limits to act in limits. Okay, there what happens, the role of that particular employee increases. Hence he says everything which goes to increase the importance of subordinate is decentralization. Everything that goes to reduce is centralization. Here you can see an example. In our families itself we will be having elders. Okay, for example, if we have father, like if we consider father will be the head of the family, next mother, next children, that elder one, next the younger ones, like this the things will be there in our family. So only for few things will be talking to the head of the family. For silly things with simple things will be talking to the mother itself. Mother will take a decision. Are you getting that? So if she does not have any decision making authority there, okay, then no one pays her importance. Is that clear? No one pays her importance. That is what Henry Fayol says, that everything that increases the importance of subordinate is your decentralization. When you decentralize, when you give them decision making authority, their importance in the organization increases because they use their creativity, they use their intellectuality to make a decision. You are not given with any decision. You have to just go with the given things. Only responsibility you have. You don't have anything to do with this. Then what happens? You are just mere mission. You are no need to think anything. No need to plan anything because you are not in a position to decide anything. Everything will be decided something. Just you have to go on with this. Means if it is a centralized organization, Henry Fayol says subordinates will be mere missionaries. If it is decentralization, the importance of subordinates increases because through this decentralization, you are dividing the authority, that is decision making, and giving to your lower levels managers. Clear? Then we'll try to understand the centralization and decentralization, that is centralized organization and decentralized organization. Here you have a chart where you can understand in a better way. Okay, you have point of difference. It can be for only 2 marks, but also you can go with this to understand the concept. Communication flow in a centralized organization, how this will be, and in decentralization, how it is will be. So in communication flow in your centralized organization will be vertical. It has to flow in a vertical way. But in decentralization, it will be open tree, means it can move as per necessaries. Okay, because the superior is going to decide to whom the communication can be given. But however, scalar chain has to be followed, no doubt about that. Okay, so in a centralization, communication should be flowed only in vertical, but in decentralization, depending upon the necessary and with permission, it will be flowed as per the superior's orders. Decision making will be slow in centralized organization, and in decentralization faster. Why? Because see, decision making is slow in centralized, though centralized in the sense what? Your authority is with few only. But also what happens, sometimes in order to make a decision, you need to work hard. You have to collect so many things and all. If that authority is not given to the any levels, everything you have to decide, then you have to spend more time and hence you have to solve more issues, then the decision becomes slow. See, example I have given now. You want to do something and you want to take your father's permission. So your father is busy with something else and your mother does not have any decision making. Then what happens? Your decision becomes slow because everything has to be decided by the father itself. But if your mother had some power, some decision making authority, you can consult her, you can take her decision and the things might be done. In that way it will be faster. Okay. Then advantage. What is advantage in centralized and decentralized? Proper coordination and leadership will be there in the centralization because everything will be controlled by someone or some group of people. No one will be given authority. But opposite to that decentralization, sharing of burden and responsibility. Generally in decentralization, what we told, the decision making, everything you don't need to decide. See, when I want to decide, I have to consider more things. I have to search the alternatives, I have to see the ways, and I have to weigh the merits and demerits, and then I have to make a decision. We have seen in planning process, right? But if that decision is distributed, then what happens? I'll be having very small part to decide. Then that becomes easy. So my burden becomes relieved. Then power of decision making, as we discussed, it lies only with the top management. In your decentralized, according to their status in the organization, that is their positions in the organization, the decision making authority will be given. Reasons why people go with centralization and why people go with decentralization, means why they go with such concept. Reason: inadequate control over the organization. For example, as a owner of a company, if you have less control over your subordinates, that is managers, then you don't want to give them any power. Everything you want to hold, because you don't believe them they are efficient, you don't believe them they are responsible. Okay, in that condition what happens? I don't have any control over them, so I cannot give them any authority. But opposite to that, when there will be decentralization will be there when there is considerable control. I know that I have good control over my subordinates, since I give them some sort of authority. Generally we say now, always freedom moves with the responsibility. If you want to be more free, more freedom, you should be responsible. If you are responsible, freedom flows to you. That is what. If you have good control, like for example, if parents have good control over the children, it may be anyway emotionally, okay, if they are having good control over the children, they give some freedom, because they know that if I say no, my child will not do. But if I don't have control over my children, then what happens? I don't want to give them any authority, because I don't know what they do with that. If I give them some freedom from authority, I don't know what they do with that, because I don't have any control over them. So what I want to do? I want to hold everything in my hands. It is simply like that. So people, why they go with centralized type of organization, in the sense they don't believe their employees or their subordinates are very efficient, and they are not in the control of the top. And where it is suited, it can be for single mark, you can just concentrate where the centralization is suited, where decentralization is suited. So if it is a small organization, your centralization is suited, because if it's small organization, small issues, small extent of work, so only one or few can have control over the entire organization. If it is a big large scale organization, how can only top management people can make all the decision? Simply it's impossible. There what happens? Obviously you have to go with decentralization type of concept. So this is the difference between your centralization and decentralization. I hope by knowing your difference, you might got the concept of decentralization. Actually, as per our syllabus, we don't have anything to deal with centralization. Okay, but we study decentralization. In order to understand decentralization, we are comparing with the centralization. That's it. So go with the meaning. Please see the definition. And here I want to remember you once again. Whenever definition is asked, you have to write according to an author. If not, you don't score 2 marks. I mean, out of 4 marks. Though you write the correct things, you don't score marks unless you write the author name. This has happened. So please don't do that. Whenever the definition asked, go with writing the author's name. Secondly, whenever difference is asked, go with format. Make a format, make 3 columns, and then go with writing the difference. See, it is not only important to know the concept, you should even know how to present the concept. Because what is our goal? Our goal is, we have 2 types of goals. Like, I want to learn the things, and also I want to score in my subjects. Okay, these 2 are your goals. Hence, you follow these things. You study well and you present well. This you have to follow. Okay, because I have checked your papers. Many have not written the author name when you are writing the definition, and difference is asked, you didn't write the definition. I mean, you didn't write in the format. There you lost marks, few lost marks. So don't go with that. Try to do the things in a proper way so that you can score good marks. I hope you have understood what is this meaning and definition and difference between decentralization and centralization. Okay, in next class we'll be dealing with importance of decentralization. Till we meet in our next class, take care, bye bye.